The soft hum of the city blended with the gentle rustle of leaves. Outside the little cafe window, sunlight streamed in through the glass, casting golden patches on the wooden floor. Emma sat at a corner table, stirring her cappuccino absent-mindedly, her mind tangled in 1,000 thoughts. Today was special at least. She hoped it would be. It had been 6 years since she had last seen him. 6 years since the summer of her life. A summer filled with laughter, stolen glances, and a kind of love she had thought she'd never find again. And now, after all this time, he was supposed to be walking through that door. Her heart skipped when the bell above the cafe jingled. She looked up, and there he was, Ethan, taller than she remembered. His hair slightly longer, but those eyes were still the same warm shade of hazel, full of the same mischief and kindness that had first drawn her to him. Emma stood, almost trembling, as he walked toward her. "Emma," he said, his voice carrying the same calm confidence she had always loved. "Ethan," she whispered, unable to contain the smile that had been waiting all these years. They embraced, a little awkwardly at first, as if the years had stretched the space between them. Yet there was an undeniable comfort, like returning to a place you had always known. Sitting down, they ordered coffee, though neither of them paid much attention to it. Their conversation began tentatively small talk about the city. Mutual friends, work, but it quickly deepened, flowing as effortlessly as it had all those years ago. "I can't believe it's been 6 years, Ethan said, shaking his head, his smile softening. "Sometimes it feels like yesterday, other times like it was a lifetime ago." Emma nodded, her fingers tracing the rim of her cup. "I think about that summer all the time. It changed me, you know, made me braver." He reached across the table, brushing his hand gently over hers. The simple touch sent warmth up her arm. "It changed me too," he admitted. "I've never met anyone like you. Emma, you made me feel alive." The cafe around them faded. The clinking of cups, the chatter of other patrons, the distant honking of traffic, it all disappeared. For a moment, there was only them, two souls reconnecting after years apart, as if no time had passed at all. Ethan leaned back in his chair, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Do you remember that night? On the hill, overlooking the city?" Emma's eyes widened. How could she forget? That night had been the pinnacle of their summer, a night that had cemented their bond forever. "Of course I do. We watched the stars, and you promised me that you'd never forget this moment." "I haven't," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Not once. I've thought about it every day." Her heart swelled. "Me too." They left the cafe together, walking down the cobbled streets hand in hand, as if no years had passed. The evening air was crisp, carrying the scent of rain that had fallen earlier, mingled with the faint aroma of street food. Emma felt a thrill she hadn't realized she'd missed. The simple joy of being close to someone who understood her completely. They reached the hill, the very spot they had visited all those years ago. The city lights stretched out below them like a glittering sea, and the stars above twinkled as if sharing their joy. Ethan pulled a small blanket from his bag. "I thought we might sit for a while, just like old times." Emma smiled, touched by the thoughtfulness. They sat close together, shoulders brushing, watching the city glow beneath them. Silence fell, but it was comfortable, a shared moment of peace. Then Ethan turned to her, eyes serious now, filled with a depth of emotion that made her heart ache. "Emma, there's something I need to tell you. I never stopped thinking about you. Not for a single day. And I don't want to wait another moment to tell you that I love you. I always have, and I always will." Tears pricked at her eyes, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming wave of happiness and love that flooded her heart. She reached up, cupping his face in her hands. "Ethan, I love you too. I always have." The city lights and stars bore witness as they leaned in, their lips meeting in a tender, heartfelt kiss, the kind that made all the years of separation fade away. In that moment, everything else vanished: regrets, doubts, and time itself. There was only love, pure and unending. Hours seemed to pass like minutes. They talked, laughed, and reminisced, recalling small details that had once seemed trivial, but now held immense significance. Emma realized how much she had missed having someone who knew her so completely, someone whose mere presence brought calm and joy. As the night grew colder, Ethan wrapped the blanket around them both. "This is a moment to remember," he said softly, resting his head against hers. Emma smiled, leaning into him. "Yes, the best moment I've ever had." They stayed there until the first hints of dawn began to color the sky, neither wanting to leave, neither wanting the night to end. It was more than a reunion, it was a beginning, a chance to rewrite the story of their lives together. Weeks passed, and their bond grew stronger. Every coffee shared, every evening walk, every quiet conversation deepened their connection. The city, which had once felt like a place of routine and solitude, now shimmered with possibility. Emma felt as if the world itself had conspired to bring them back together. One rainy afternoon, Ethan surprised her with a small book, filled with handwritten letters he had kept over the years, notes, sketches, and memories of their summer together. Emma's eyes glistened as she read them, realizing that their love had never truly faded, only paused. "I wanted you to have this," Ethan said, taking her hand, "to remind you, and me, that we were meant to find each other again." Emma leaned against him, feeling the warmth of his embrace. "I can't believe how lucky we are," she whispered. "And this is only the beginning," he replied, pressing a soft kiss to her temple. Seasons changed, but their love remained steadfast. They discovered joy in simple moments, morning coffees, shared sunsets, and quiet nights in each other's company. Every day brought a new memory, a new moment to cherish, but none surpassed that first evening on the hill, where they had reaffirmed their love. Years later, when they told their story to friends and family, they always began with the same words. It all started with a moment to remember, and indeed, it had. A moment that had endured through time, through separation, through the ordinary trials of life, blossoming into a love that was timeless, unwavering, and perfect in its simplicity. Emma and Ethan knew that life would continue to bring challenges, but they also knew one unshakable truth. Some moments, once shared, stay with you forever. And their moment, that golden evening on the hill under the stars, would forever remain the heartbeat of their love story, a reminder that some loves are not just for a season but for a lifetime.